talk in the overtime play. The big stories, the big plays, the big drama. We got Jared B and Johnny O. Jared B and Johnny O. Jared B and Johnny O. Jared B and Johnny O.
Welcome to Overtime with Jared P. and Johnny O, episode 46. We're going to talk some NBA Finals. We might just have one game left, or will it go 7 games? Our predictions, plus Caitlin Clark back in a big way. And what is wrong with Johnny O's Red Sox and who they're just shipping off just willy-nilly. All that we'll get into, maybe a little bit more. But first, the presenting sponsor, Johnny.
We got Estate Jewelry and Loan, something old, something new. Estate Jewelry has a great selection of new and estate jewelry, and you can really find a nice, unique piece for any occasion. You can find them at 2511 Battleground Ave and also at estatejewelryloan.com. And Brian also has Salsarita's Fresh Mexican Grill, located in High Point at the Palladium and in Greensboro in the Target Shopping Center on New Garden Road. He's got a food truck, catering, daily specials, and you can check out the menu at salsaritas.com.
Excellent. All right, so Caitlin Clark was out 5 games. The ratings were down 55% league-wide. I don't know if you saw this. I think the first game she was out, she was supposed to play, and, tickets, let's say, were $100 a piece on average. They went down like $8 a piece,
Oh, my gosh.
And so I think the Caitlin Clark effect, I think it was actually good for the WNBA to be reminded of what they have, because without her, they had what they had before, which isn't much. With her, they have everything, and they can build upon that, and they can build storylines with Angel Reese and other players. And, there are some really great players in the league, but nobody's Caitlin Clark. She comes back and hits 7 logo threes in her return. And in the 2 games she's been back, has already hit 11 threes and just looks dominant. And they beat the once undefeated New York Liberty team, and they handled them, just blew them out. And so Caitlin Clark right now, to me, is the MVP of the league. What do you think?
Oh, of course. Absolutely. And, the media builds her up, and she should be built up as a basketball player and saving the league. And the players are just getting mad at that, and they're going to continue to get mad at that. The great thing is 2 things. First, the Indiana Fever are playing really good basketball since she came back. I guess they're over 500 now. That game I think we caught a little bit of that game on Saturday, and she was just on fire, man, just throwing them up. But I got to say, I love watching her dribble. I love watching her shoot. I love the logo threes, the drives, the crossovers and all that. The most fun I watch with her is her passing. Those passes, she gets credit for it, but she should get more credit for her passing, especially into her girl Boston, man. She loves to feed her, and she catches it, man. She catches it in traffic. So they look great. They look great. But that last game, you saw that flagrant foul. I don't know if there was a little bit of controversy on that. And they interviewed her after the game. Handled it with complete class, like she always does. She goes, it's basketball. It was, whatever, it happens in basketball. And she said, so are we going to talk about regular basketball? Or are we going to talk about that foul? And she was kind of very nice about it. And they just said they wanted to talk about the flagrant foul. They want that controversy. And she says, well, I guess we're done here. I want to talk about our team making it to. They got this thing called the Commissioner's Cup, and they've made it to the championship. And they won the eastern part, I guess, of the WNBA, and Minnesota Lynx won the western part. They play each other for $500,000. So that's a nice little chunk of change. I guess winner takes all. So that's kind of interesting. And she wanted to talk about that instead of that controversial play. But she handles it with such class. I adore that girl, man, and I love watching her.
Yeah, and the ratings, they said the ratings for that Saturday game were like the 3rd highest WNBA game of all time, not just this season. And I think all the records are hers. And her return game against New York, she in 31 minutes. I think we have to remember that, you know, they don't play 48 minutes like they do in the NBA. They play 40, so she played 31 of 40, and so in 31 minutes she had 32 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists, 1 steal, and 2 blocks. Now she did have 7 turnovers. She shot 50% from the 3-point line and 55% from 2. And then in the game you just referenced with the cheap shot against Connecticut, she played 29 minutes, had 20 points, only 1 rebound, 6 assists, and 2 steals, 50% from the field, and shot 66% from 3. So yeah, she's on fire. She's a complete player, and she is the Michael Jordan of that league. If she's playing, people are watching. If she's not playing, people aren't watching in the same amount of numbers. And you can either embrace it, which I think the WNBA is, at least the powers that be, or have learned to embrace it, which is such a godsend. And they have asked other players, they're like, yeah, I'm glad we have more attention on us now. But jealousy is going to seep in. I think that's why we've seen a lot of these cheap shots and flagrant fouls. They're jealous of this girl that's come in and right away taken the world by storm. And jealousy is a real thing in all sports. And so if anything, hopefully it can inspire the youth as they're watching to play like she does. But I mean, she is once obviously in a generation talent as far as, you know, the logo threes. And Johnny, you nailed it, man. Her court vision is next to none. I believe she leads the WNBA in assists as far as average is concerned. And so what a special player. Just box office.
This is June, okay? So what's today? I don't even know whatever the date is. We're in mid-June, okay? It's not November. It's not December, January, where there's crappy weather out and you're in front of the TV and going to games. This is in June, and that arena was packed, okay, in the middle of summer. And I was in D.C. visiting my daughter, and, you know, we were doing all kinds of stuff. And we went back. Of course, we turned the TV on, and we had the U.S. Open Golf. And then I noticed that they were on too, the Indiana, the Fever. And I'm like, oh my God, I got to turn it over. I couldn't turn it back because it was so, I mean, it was just so fun to watch when they were playing the Liberty in the middle of the summer. I think they have everything against them as far as the timing of when the league is playing, but people are watching. And like you said, the ratings are up when that little girl plays, man.
Yeah, and you're right. Everything's against them as far as scheduling, and then it's like a Saturday at 2 or 3. It's not the most ideal time, like you said, when you got a lot of things, a lot of choices. Well, Caitlin Clark, hopefully she can stay healthy, and you know, I would love to see her win the MVP and have a deep run in the WNBA playoffs. All right, let's thank some of our other sponsors. We have Surf Hippie Fishing, surfhippiefishing.com. This is the PH. For all your surf, not all your surfing, but all your fishing needs, whether it's tackle or tournaments or gear. They have really cool gear here as well. Surfhippiefishing.com. Elite Performance Chiropractic, 2 locations. If you want to go to their website, you check all that out. Elite Performance Chiropractic, Winston-Salem and Greensboro. They've added some new certifications. They'll get you back feeling better than ever. Former NFL player Jeremy Phillips is the chiropractor there and took the things he learned in pro sports and has, you know, put it into his practice, which is, you can't find that everywhere. It's amazing. And who else you got, Johnny?
We got Shank and Torrance Insurance. They are located in Greensboro, but they serve the entire triad in state. Brian Torrance has handled my insurance for over 20 years and specializes in personal insurance, including auto, homeowners, and life insurance. Call him at 336-310-1320 for all your insurance needs. And tee it up indoor on Battleground Ave. He's got 3 simulators, especially it's been a little rainy here in the Carolinas the last couple weeks. So he's been pretty busy over there with over 100,000 golf courses. The owner is Davis Troxler, a very good friend of mine, and he's serving beer and soft drinks. Go check him out. He's over off of Battleground Ave. That's it.
All right. That's everybody. All right, good. Perfect. You did that so well. All right, so let's go to the NBA Finals. And this has been actually a really entertaining NBA Finals for the most part. The games seem, outside of the, I think, Game 3, it's been close, or game 4 maybe. It's been close for most of the game, or at least in the fourth quarter it gets tight. And there's no exception in game number 5 where the Thunder the Thunder blew a 18-point lead or only had a 2-point lead with about 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, and then they totally took over, and then it was not much of a game going forward. And I guess the story to me is which Tyrese Halliburton's going to show up, the one that's hit 5 either game-tying or game-winning shots just in this playoffs alone, or the one who had 0 points at halftime and only shot the ball 6 times the whole game and didn't make a shot. 0 for 6. He has 7 rebounds and 6 assists. But which Tyrese Halliburton is going to show up? What are your thoughts, Johnny?
Well, usually when a top player like himself, and he's getting close to superstar status, but I guess that's always the question. But he's probably not there yet, but pretty darn close. Usually when they have an off game, it's injury related, and it is injury related. He's playing hurt. He's got a strained calf. You can't play basketball with a strained calf. Think about that, Jared. You're a basketball player. I mean, walking with a strained calf. I had one about 2 or 3 months ago. I didn't know what the heck it was. I thought maybe it was my Achilles or whatever. It hurts. I can't imagine playing an NBA basketball game with a strained calf. And it doesn't. He's a game time decision on the next game, and they're down 3-2. I don't think he's going to play. If he does, he's a gamer, and he's probably not going to last very long. But my thoughts are Pacers are done. Thunder wins it next game in 6. And the Thunder just has too much, especially without a Tyrese Halliburton leading Indiana to do what they have done very special up to this point.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was interesting, watching the game. I was really into it because, at first it was like, oh man, at halftime it was kind of ugly, and then it got uglier in the third quarter. And then TJ McConnell came in, and he had like 15 points in the third quarter and brought the team back pretty much single-handedly. And then with Tyrese Halliburton in the game early in the fourth quarter, they cut it to 2. But a lot of the thoughts are, do you keep Tyrese Halliburton in the fourth quarter, or do you ride the hot hand? I think there's a lot of different ways to think about this. I think my thoughts are, you have a guy who is clutch in Tyrese Halliburton. You have a guy also who's had some clunkers in the playoffs where, let's see here. I just had it. So he had 4 points in that game, but you don't have to go too far back, against the Knicks where, in a game, did they go 7? Yeah. In game 6, he had 8 points.
Right. Yep.
In New York. And he was 2 for 7, 0 for 2 from 3, just had a clunker of a game, and then came back strong in game 7 with 21 points and 13 assists and 6 rebounds. So, but I guess my point is, I think you ride that hot hand until it's not hot. I don't know if you can have TJ McConnell and Halliburton on the floor at the same time, but as it gets later in the fourth quarter, I'd want TJ Halliburton in, or Tyrese Halliburton. I don't want to say TJ McConnell and Halliburton in. I'd want Tyrese Halliburton in because he is the most clutch player in these playoffs.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's a way to do both, where you keep TJ in until he's not hot anymore, and then Tyrese can take it from there. But I think it's a big mistake. They put TJ McConnell back in like way late in the game. It was too late, and Tyrese just didn't have it. What do you think?
I agree with you. If someone's hot, it's just like any sport. When someone's on a roll, especially I think basketball is the number one. If you're hitting shots and you're taking it to the basket, you're going to the free throw line, you're hitting little paint shots, you're hitting 3-pointers, and if you're hot, you do not get taken out of that game until you raise your hand and you want to be taken out. You can't run down and play defense. You got to stick with the hot hand. And I think, I've kind of heard some experts saying, that they should go with McConnell, not even worry about it. This isn't anything against Tyrese Halliburton. Because he is hurt. You got to start McConnell in game 6 and see what he can do. That dude is a gamer, man. And he's a scorer, and he's like a energy what is it? Energy Bunny or whatever you call it. I mean,
Energizing Bunny, yeah.
he's nonstop. And it's mostly because he's coming off the bench. He gets that 5 or 6 minute stint and just goes crazy. But give him a shot. I mean, I think that is their only shot of winning Game 6 is if he starts and plays his game and gets that team going. Because strained calf, it's why would you want a 50% Tyrese Halliburton instead of 100% McConnell? So you got to go McConnell.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate to have an injury at this point in the season. I mean, it kind of reminds me of both KD and Klay Thompson in the NBA Finals that they ended up losing, I believe, to Toronto. But where, you had obviously he's a little bit older, but Kevin Durant with a strained calf, and he came back too early, and he tore his Achilles. That's like the next step for a lot of people. Yep. So got to be really careful with that. And then, of course, the other guy tore his ACL on just a freak play. But I hate to see that in NBA Finals. You'd like to see both teams in healthy and just have the best team win. I mean, I still think the Thunder overall is the best team, but this Pacers team does not give up.
They don't give up.
I think one player that I've been disappointed in NBA Finals is Teller. He just seems very hesitant to shoot the ball.
Yeah,
he's 6'11". He can shoot from three, and he gives up a lot of wide open shots, and that's not his game. His game is that he can stretch it, and then he gets some rebounds here and there. But it's like, I don't know. It seems like some players aren't really showing up for the Pacers. But then again, we're at Game 6, which I think most people thought would be a sweep or a gentleman's sweep. And then let's give credit to the Thunder. SGA is just consistent with his 30, 35.
Well, there it is. That's a superstar. Every game he's scoring over 30 points. And sometimes, he starts off slow. I'm thinking, oh, gee, he only has 4 or 5 points in the first quarter or whatever. He always ends up with over 30 points. But now Jalen Williams is the Scottie Pippen of OKC right now. His last 3 games, 26, 26, and 40. He has come alive, and he is for real. And I think it was I forget what announcer was saying it. All he has to, who's the announcer? The bald-headed guy played for Cleveland and San Antonio. He's really good. Oh my God, with Doris Burke and what's his name?
Oh, Richard Jefferson.
Thank you. He said way back in Game 1, oh my God, what's Jalen Williams doing? All he has to do is bring it back one step. He's trying to go too fast. And that's what happens when you get excited. It's the finals and all that. Oh my God, the last 3 or 4 games, he has brought it back that one little step, slowed everything down, and that dude can play. And what a little Robin he is to Batman Alexander. Because if him and Shea do that again next game, lights out.
It's going to be a blowout, yeah.
Yep.
So it's been a much better finals. I mean, the ratings won't, and it's not because of Indiana and Oklahoma. It's because they just don't have Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is a superstar, but as far as he's not box office, he kind of has. Almost kind of reminds me of the old Spurs teams where they're just like workmanlike. He's not flashy. There's no one flashy on either team really, except for Tyrese. Late in games can be pretty flashy, but with the theatrics. So, because I think if you had a LeBron or you had another big star on one of these teams, then the ratings would be bigger. But anyway, if you've missed it, you've missed out on a pretty good NBA Finals.
Yep. 2 great teams, and I love the way they run their offenses. I mean, it's really good basketball.
Well coached.
Yeah, very well coached. Absolutely. While we're talking about the NBA, let's do a little quick snippet. The Los Angeles Lakers were sold today to Mark Walter, who owns the Dodgers and every other sporting thing, for $10 billion. That's right, $10 billion. Jeannie Buss, sold them, and Jeannie Buss is still going to stay on as like a governor of the team. What a deal that is. And I can't imagine. What do you think Dr. Buss bought the Lakers for way back when, about 50-something years ago?
Oh my gosh. It wasn't 10 billion. It wasn't 1 billion. It probably wasn't 10 million. I don't know.
Can you believe that? At $10 billion. What a nice investment that is. Woo.
Yeah, that's a big story because it's been in the Buss family, like you said, for 50 years. I
Yeah.
know he's going to stay on a minority position, but that kind of came out of nowhere. I didn't hear any rumblings of that. I wonder, and what if that affects LeBron's future or not? Probably not. But I mean, LeBron's kind of been, playing coy about his future, and
Yeah.
so
Well, he's got a like a that opt-in, opt-out contract, but I can't see him leaving. I think one more year and that'll be it probably. But I don't
all
think
right.
this
So
will. Go ahead.
no, I know. I think I'm glad you brought that up because I saw that come across right before we started. I'm glad you remembered to bring that up because it's a big deal. The Lakers being sold because it's been the first time in
Mm.
around 50 years. The most iconic, maybe second most iconic franchise, not the most iconic NBA franchise, one of the most iconic franchises, ownership families for years and years and years. All right, what's going on with your Red Sox?
Oh my God. Me and my son have been on the phone just whining to each other, man. Okay. So it's Father's Day. Okay. I'm in Washington, D.C. with my daughter. She treated me to one hell of a weekend. We had a great weekend with her and her husband. And we're watching the U.S. Open, and Lucas, my son, is hitting me saying, "Hey, the Red Sox, it looks like we're going to sweep the Yankees on Father's Day." He goes, "What a gift to you, And my son's an unbelievable Red Sox fan, and so we swept the Yankees over the weekend, and they win. And Rafael Devers hits a home run. They win 2-0 for a 3-0 sweep of the Yankees. It's Father's Day. It's great. The U.S. Open's on. I mean, I'm happier than pigs and you know what, man. It's
Yeah.
Everything's good. 40 minutes later, Rafael Devers traded. And I'm like, what the hell? It makes no sense. Okay, he is a superstar. He's our star, that $330 million star that they signed. Um, the Red Sox, I'm ready to leave them. I'm so upset with what has gone on over the past 4 or 5 years. Mookie Betts, one of the greatest baseball players that have been playing in the past 7 or 8 years, we lost him to the Los Angeles Dodgers. Chris Sale, okay, one of the best lefties in the game. Okay, we trade him to the Atlanta Braves. Okay, last year he wins the Cy Young Award in the National League for the Atlanta Braves. Okay, so we lose him. Xander Bogaerts, which you probably don't even know who he is. He's a fantastic shortstop. We lost him to the San Diego Padres. This is all in the last 4 or 5 years, and the Boston Red Sox they're spenders. They've always, to keep up with the Yankees and, that rivalry, whoever would get the biggest players, and it didn't matter about money and this and that. It matters money now. I don't know what's going on with the Red Sox. They won't spend it, and it's making me sick because you got to keep. Now we have a great young core of players, fantastic players, but you got to have those stars. And we lost Rafael Devers to the San Francisco Giants, and he's gone. And right now, we do not have a star in that team. We just got a bunch of prospects that are really good, but we're not going to make any headway toward the playoffs at all this year. So I'm a little disappointed, and it's not good right now.
With Devers, do you think you guys had a chance to make a deep run or no?
Well, a deep run, no, but I think we'd make the playoffs with him. He's putting up great numbers. He got 60. He got big numbers. We lost a guy that knocks in runs and hits home runs and bats for an average. He's Dominican. You can't even understand a word he's saying. And they brought in a guy. He was a third baseman, so they moved him from Devers to third base, or from third base to DH, designated hitter. To me, the greatest job in all of sports. All you have to do is hit, right? And he's getting $330 million. He kind of complained, in his language, but he got over it. And they said, no, we're going to go with this Bregman, and you're our DH for the rest of your career. But then about a month later, they go to him because our first baseman got hurt. They go, hey, we want you to play first base. Rafael said, no, I'm DH for the rest of my career, remember?
Yeah.
He's not really an ass. I'm against those kind of guys that are saying that. I'm completely on Devers' side on that, because they kind of bumped him from that, and he just said no. And it's not like he wasn't putting up numbers as a DH for the Red Sox, and he's not that much of a, he wasn't a cancer in the locker or anything, but they got rid of that $330 million contract, and for a bag of balls and a bag of Skittles, I think it seemed. So not good. But,
I saw you post
over
the weekend that you were done with the Red Sox. I'm like, what's going on? Then I saw the story and I was like, oh man, man. Well, maybe. I mean, the Red Sox have been well run the last 20 years.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And so, but you're saying the last 3 or 4 years, 4 or 5 years, kind of been the trend where they keep losing players. Is it new? Now you have to tell me. This is where I'm ignorant. Is it new management? They have a new general manager or?
We've changed general managers a couple times, and that is the problem. We still have the same owner that would spend money before. I just don't like the route they're going. We haven't. We've won 3 World Series in the past, 10, 11 years, but the last 4 years, nothing. We're not making the playoffs or anything. So they're on a downslide, and I'm not. Boston Red Sox fans, especially the ones right in Boston or up in the Northeast, they are serious, man. I mean, Fenway Park is sold out on Tuesday nights, Wednesday nights, Thursday nights. It don't matter what day it is. Fenway sold out. Those fans are pissed off right now, and it could be a whole different. I don't know what's going to happen. It's not a good situation.
So you feel like the season they've kind of folded in for the season, and we'll see. Then you have to see what they're going to do next season. I hate that when you feel like midway through the season or halfway point, a little past halfway point, you start feeling like, oh, we're done for this year. I hate that.
We used to be buyers, now we're sellers.
And you won, and we know aggressiveness wins more than
attention. Yep.
And so, it seemed like they're being passive. All right, well, I'm sorry that ruined your Father's Day weekend. And sports can do that. They can make or break, your mood for you and everyone else, for sure. Well, Johnny, great job. We will see what happens to the NBA Finals. It might be our last show without a champion. Or next week we'll have a champion, I guess, either way. By the time we get to our next episode. And I think it's good for the NBA to kind of end on this, that you have a team like the Thunder who, I think you said it, they didn't buy their championship. They built their championship. And I thought that was a great line from you. And it's true. And then conversely as well, in addition to the Pacers did the same basic thing too. They've built theirs, not bought theirs. And I think it'll be either way, it'll be the 7th new champion in 7 years. And I think parity is good. Dynasties can be good and exciting, but parity is also good, where you feel like every year maybe your team has a chance, unless you're a Hornets fan, which
absolutely, I'm with you. All right, man. Good deal.
We're not talking overtime pay. We're talking the overtime play. The big stories, the big plays, the big drama. We got